leg of this tie as well. And it's currently a 2-0 lead to Gorilla going up against FUTWIZ Jamie. Gorilla, who resides 26th in the Global Series rankings. He needs to be aiming for probably around a top 4 finish to give himself a good chance of getting to playoffs. To guarantee it, he'd need to win the event, but I think around top 4, maybe a top 8 at a push, might see him get into that top 16.
That's something really small that I'm enjoying seeing here from Gorilla is the return of the Arsenal home kit. This is where he had a lot of success. It was his Arsenal home kit, would always be there on his back. And here with a 2-goal advantage into the second leg, it looks like things are going pretty well from there, but unfortunately that perfectly green time finish there from R9 didn't look like a green to me.
Didn't really, no. It's been a very odd season for Gorilla. I mean, one of the best players to ever grace the title that is FIFA. I mean, he was the best around for quite some time. However, in FIFA 19, we saw him start fairly well when he came top 4 at an LQE in Bucharest, but then we just saw him fall, and I don't think he finished higher than top 16 at any event since then. So now it's his chance at playoffs to kind of really show what's up and show why he's one of the best in the world.
You've always felt that there is that tournament there from Gorilla. He is a natural-born winner. He has those intangibles as a competitor that, you know, you just can't teach to certain players, to certain people. You either have it or you don't. And he, as you say, former world champion back on FIFA 17, and he knows how to get it done. It's just a case of when's it going to happen, or is it going to happen?
There are certain FIFAs that favour certain players, and it seems that maybe FIFA 19 Gorilla's not as good at as he was in previous titles, but if he's been practicing hard, you never know what he could do at this tournament.
Well, here's Mbappe trying to get away from the attentions of Da Costa. You saw the beautiful little skill run in the move up to that, and he is so dangerous in and around the box, and there is a goal that you'll be seeing a lot of over the next couple of days. A little flick pass into the volley. Cristiano Ronaldo, having created the space for the chance, absolutely buries the volley.
One of the best ways, of course, to progress in any sort of FIFA title is knowing how to put the ball in the back of the net. Which are the ways that you're going to see yourself more likely to have success of actually scoring a goal? And it does seem that that little chip volley does work pretty well in this current meta, especially when you're using the likes of Team of the Year, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, for FUTWIZ Jamie, I mean, he's 0-3 down in this game. He would fall to 2 and 3 in Swiss if he is to lose this as well. He came into this 57th in the Global Series ranking, so he just was able to sneak into playoffs. He definitely needs to win the event if he wants to get into the top 16 and get to that E-World Cup, so it's a big, big task. Do you think that realistically he comes into this thinking, I can win this event, I can get to the E-World Cup? Or is he here saying, I just want to come, show what I can do, and maybe start looking at next season?
It's a difficult question to answer, isn't it? Because I think you should be going into absolutely every tournament thinking it. But when you say realistically, for an outsider looking in, I think it's a chance to play against players who are at the top of their game, who are going to be, really pushing you and testing your levels as a player. However, I just feel you have to come in and think you can win it. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point in competing,
I think if you come into an event, though, saying, oh, I have to win, otherwise I don't qualify for the E-World Cup, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. However, if you come into the event just saying, I want to play well, I want to play good FIFA, I want to place well, maybe you're more likely to take that pressure off and have an actual chance of getting further in the tournament. And you just work round by round. You get out of Swiss, then you get out of the top 32, suddenly you're in the top 16, then you're in the quarterfinals, then you're in the semi-finals. You just have to believe when you get a little bit further. But FUTWIZ Jamie, I mean, he is a fantastic human being. Of course, we had the event where he had to go to hospital during Singapore, so he wasn't able to compete in that event. He lost out on Global Series ranking points there. So maybe this season hasn't gone his way due to some personal issues, but the fact he still made playoffs despite that is a credit in itself.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody's going to take that away from him. Been a fierce competitor all season. And you see it again, Gorilla looking for that little chip pass into the volley. And I think you're going to have to be on your toes here. We talked about early meta game in FIFA 19 with those green time finishes, the first time finesses, etc. And how after a couple of events we saw the goalkeeper movement really start to come into play with being a real counter to that. It's kind of fallen out again since we had the little bit of a nerf to the green finesses, the first time finesses, excuse me. You're going to have to see it come back in again because the chip volleys, you're going to have to be on your toes here and move your goalkeeper again.
And I think you have to sometimes put your pride in your pocket. And what I mean by that is, I'm not going to beat around the bush. There are some players who like to play FIFA a certain way, and they don't like to use these kind of meta-breaking ways to score a goal. However, sometimes you have to say, whatever. I'm going to score a goal because I want to win. You want to be good at a video game. You want to be good at FIFA. And sometimes you have to just do what everyone else is doing. And that's what Gorilla's doing now. And maybe he didn't do enough of that at the start of the season, which is why he had some poor finishes.
Well, you don't win anything for scoring a pretty goal. You win it for winning games. It's as simple as that. And with the amount of money on the line, with what's on the line, the chance to get to that E-World Cup final as well. I think you're going to see all players here taking advantage of absolutely everything they can to try and beat their opponent. 3-0 there to Gorilla. I always feel like Gorilla's, he is a player who we haven't quite seen have one of those runs, if you know what I mean, where he's caught fire and he looks super dangerous.
As I said, it was only...
Maybe this is the event.
It was only the Bucharest LQE where he really performed. In one of the early events where just natural FIFA skill coming into a new FIFA was displayed. But then people started to learn new things and maybe Gorilla didn't adapt as well as others. However, now he's put some time into it, he does look like a different kind of Gorilla. I'd love to see him go on a run. I mean, as a UK fan, as a UK born and bred... Actually, no, that's a lie. I was born in the USA.
Way to suit you.
However, I am from the UK. I'm always going to support the UK boys. It would just be good to see a legend go on another run.
Well, here's Mbappe inside the box. Little three-point turn back. Oh, it's a beautiful drag back. Van der Sar gets a piece of it, gets back on his line somehow to claw it away. I thought that FUTWIZ Jamie would have been a little bit disappointed in his goalkeeper there if that one had fallen into the back of the net, but he managed to get back and, as I say, just scramble it away at the last second.
And to get back into this game, it's going to be really difficult for FUTWIZ Jamie. Of course, I mean, I was talking earlier like he was eliminated and like he wasn't going to be able to compete in the next round, but of course he would only fall to 2 and 3. And he's still not out of this game just yet either. If he can snack, kind of pinch one back before the end of this first half, there's going to be definitely a chance to get back into this game. Sure, it's going to be difficult, but we know that FUTWIZ Jamie has the capability to do so. And
let's remind ourselves as well, you know, both these players aren't out of the tournament after this.
Nope.
And this is a standalone tournament itself. So much money on the line as we see the ball in towards the back post. What is happening right now? Van der Sar manages to get back and finally claim that, but a big chance there for Gorilla. Maybe a green header there and that's in.
Maybe, unfortunately, just colliding with the post, but Gorilla looking very dangerous in the final third, and I'm sure that players who are watching on, they won't really want to face Gorilla in that kind of final matchup, or in either round 6 or round 7, depending on how far Gorilla gets, or even if he gets to the knockouts. He's a scary player to go up against because of his experience, because he's going to have that stage presence. He's not going to be intimidated by the cameras, by the lights, by the pressure. He is going to perform if he has the ability to perform.
He's actually using Marcelo into the full-back position as well, so obviously a very attacking-minded lineup here. That's the one thing I do love about this time of the year in competitive FIFA, when we have all these new FUT items introduced to the game. It gives so many different options to players. Obviously, you know, we see a very similar starting lineup as we see FUTWIZ Jamie with a chance to get in here, and he has made that chance count.
3-1.
1-1 in this game now, 2 goals the difference, and plenty of time to still work with.
Yeah, game on. He just needed to get one back right before the start of this second half, and he's using Team of the Year Mbappe as well. I know a lot of people were using Team of the Season Mbappe for chemistry reasons, but me personally, I think Team of the Year Mbappe is one of the best FUT items in the game, so I would definitely be using him, but I can understand they want to fit that new Team of the Season Neymar into the equation. But just going back to your point about Gorilla using Marcelo, I like it because players need to use cards and FUT items that apply to their own strengths, rather than trying to work around what everyone else is doing. Rather than saying, oh, Marcelo might be losing headers, if he's saying Marcelo is going to make chances for him going forward, then absolutely use the players that are going to help you win games, not help you not lose games. I
agree with you completely. I think sometimes that aspect of the game is overlooked a little bit. Now we're going to see Modric come forward for Gorilla, looking to restore the advantage he's held for pretty much the entirety of this game. Ronaldo tees up another volley.
For the third time, he tries to make it like that.
Taken short here. Neymar flicks it in towards the box. Modric will recycle this one. Criqueta to get that space. You can see the man's desperately trying to get back at him. That's Havertz. Gorilla there teasing a little cross towards the back post by getting that flick up, but Varane's going to get it away as we see the half-time whistle come in.
I like that, though. I like trying to fool your opponent.
That's what Dax does so well.
Playing a little bit of mind games, saying, oh, am I going to chip it and cross it? Make them move their goalkeeper, make them move a couple of defenders, and then you try something just a little bit different to try and throw him off. FUTWIZ Jamie was not fooled, though, and he's still only 2 goals down going into half number 2 of leg number 2. I can't quite work out whether he can get back into this game, because he's shown that like little bit of promise, that little bit of hope. But I feel like Gorilla just going forward, he could have had 4, maybe 5 here.
An interesting thing to see here is we were talking about Marcelo, we were talking about that fullback position. Well, Virgil van Dijk's now on the pitch and he's in at a fullback position. So Gorilla may be recognising the way that Jamie was looking to come forward and the fact that he has to create chances. He's been proactive instead of reactive.
I think Gorilla's probably looked at his own game and said, I've created enough chances without Marcelo on the pitch anyway. Let's look at how Jamie's actually been trying to score some goals. I have seen a couple of crosses go into the box. So now is the time where I actually bring someone on who can stop those crosses, because that left-back position hasn't been helping me loads going forward anyway. So a nice read of the game from Gorilla, and we'll see whether it pays off.
So lots of work here to do for FUTWIZ Jamie. Ronaldinho on the pitch as well for Gorilla, I believe, moving into that cam position. One thing I do find interesting, the way that I was watching Gorilla stream a bit of Weekend League a couple of weekends ago, when we did see the new team of the season, Neymar, kind of be introduced, and he was saying, I'm going to use him up top because I feel like the striker is more of a creator than a finisher. It's usually the cam and the wide players that are the ones that are on the end of chances. So having Neymar, that you'd usually think, oh, you know, he's a cam, he can turn left, he can turn right, he can find finishing, actually uses him at the top for those exact same reasons. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite likely that a lot of players are going to utilise that effect, because you play the ball to the edge of the box, which is usually the striker, and then you're passing it back to the central attacking midfielders, who are either going to rip a shot or they're making a run, and then you play the through ball. So I really like that idea from Gorilla. I really like the fact that Neymar's being utilised for his good passing abilities, his quick turning, rather than just his 5-star weak foot and his ability to shoot. If it was still the early meta of FIFA 19 and we were seeing the edge of the box shots coming in from left, right and centre, then yeah, okay, maybe we'd play Neymar at CAM. But no, I like it. It's different and it works.
Here's Ronaldo winning the ball back. Ronaldinho. Such a fluid look to his game, much like it was back when he was gracing the pitch himself. Little three-point turn inside. Ronaldinho. Back to Hullet. Modric now, and I love the makeup of Gorilla's team here. So many attacking options going forward. Modric tries to find that ball into Neymar. But you're just looking at the makeup of this team. I mean, Ruud Hullet and Luka Modric, both in the centre of the pitch. So you've got Modric, those high work rates, so he's going to be getting up the pitch. And then you've got Ruud Hullet with those high-medium work rates. I mean, usually you have a player with high defensive work rates, Patrick Vieira, medium attacking, but both of his, they've both got high attacking work rates, so they're going to be certainly joining the attack at every opportunity.
I think that's good for a player like Gorilla, who is very dangerous going forward. We saw the chances that he was able to create in that first half of this second leg, and he could have had more goals, to be honest. And he's had one quick glance at FUTWIZ Jamie's formation. He's seeing that it's a 4-3-2-1, so he's starting to say, all right, do I need to change anything up here? Is this formation going to be countering mine? Gorilla is a tactician. For all we talk about the likes of Nightwatch, etc., Gorilla has been in the game of FIFA. He knows what counters what. He would have had those studies. He would have had those coaches, etc. And, of course, one thing we haven't spoke about is Gorilla finally signing for a new organisation as well, playing for Stark. It's good to see him on a team once again.
It's great to see him representing someone. I'm sure they're going to do a great job working with Gorilla moving forward. But for now, his first priority certainly has to be to try and make his way towards that E-World Cup final. It is a tough order, we have to say, but as I said, I'm still waiting for that one tournament that we're going. Spencer, where have you been?
The tournaments where he has performed well, I mean, he's lost to the likes of Tex, who kind of overtook him as the England's #1. Maybe he'll get another chance to face off against one of the big names. He's going to have to beat them, realistically, if he does want to make the E-World Cup. He is definitely a name that would not be kind of misplaced in an E-World Cup lineup, but when we consider where he currently resides in the Global Series rankings, it would be great if he managed to find his way.
Well, here's Ronaldo. Modric has to get back and tackle, and the look of focus on Gorilla's face in that player cam was certainly a picture to behold. It shows how much really is on the line for him in this tournament. Ronaldinho looking to chip this one up. It's going to fall back to Ronaldinho.
Oh.
And what colour's grass, Dan? Green. It's green. It's green. That's right. And that's what the finish was there from the Brazilian. Played into him, and a fantastic drive across goal. Nothing that Edwin van der Sar could do about that.
Every single time that I see the ball go in and it's time green. I just think of Tass, a fellow Arsenal fan, screaming it out loud. And Gorilla with Fully behind him as a coach there. And that's it's always interesting to me what players bring to, like, as their coaches, which players they bring as their coaches. We've seen a lot of PlayStation players that have come over to the Xbox tournament and who are also coaching them as well. Who would you bring, Mark? Who would be your player of choice?
Who would I bring? I mean, I'd feel sorry for whoever sit behind me, to be honest, watch me play FIFA if I was somehow qualified. Although I did beat you, but, you know, we won't talk about that. Who would I have? Who would I have? I'd like a tactician, someone who reads the game very quickly. Tex, why not? He's number 1 in the rankings. He can coach me any day.
That's a bit of a cop-out of it.
No, it's not. It's just a good answer, isn't it?
You've just gone, I don't know, I'm just going to choose first place.
Well, who would you choose?
I'd go for a player like Nightwatch, I think. Someone who studies, does their research, puts the preparation in. I think he'd be a great man to put behind you. But, of course, you have to think about players who know you as well and know what to say. Because if they say the wrong things... What
would you say to me?
If I said to you, I should say, calm down, Mark. It's okay. You're going to get through this.
Unbelievable.
All right, we're getting this game back underway then. FUTWIZ Jamie has a lot to do here against Gorilla. Maybe Gorilla's done enough at this stage of the game, or maybe we'll see a little bit of a comeback here from FUTWIZ Jamie.
And Jamie's changed to that 4-1-2-1-2 narrow as well, so he's going to have those 2 men up top as well as someone just in behind them. So a very aggressive formation, one that was obviously made famous by Gorilla himself back in FIFA 16, FIFA 17. But he's had to adjust. As Jamie looks again to try and get that ball into the air for one of those deep crosses in towards the back post. Feel it turning back to Neymar now. Gorilla coming forward. There's the run as well from Neymar. Takes it early. Maybe looking for some goalkeeper movement there from FUTWIZ Jamie, but Neymar couldn't beat him. And now a corner. Modric gets a piece of it. Not quite enough to win possession, though. Hullet. Van Dijk paying very close attention to him. Cheeky little ball inside the box. Mbappe battling this time with Hullet once more. Gorilla's teasing FUTWIZ Jamie right now on the edge of that box, but finally Jamie wins it back. And he's got to go forward quickly here, Dan.
But you can see the footballing, the FIFA brain from Gorilla being put into place.
You can, but you can also see Eusebio going towards goal, and it's Ronaldo across goal, denied by the upright.
And for players like Gorilla, for players like Kurt, who are kind of sat quite far away from that top 16 and know that first place will get them into that E-World Cup, they actually think they have a chance because they do, because they've been there, because they've done
winners.
That. They are some of the best FIFA players that we've seen to ever grace a FIFA title. When we talk about some of the other players that are kind of down in maybe 30 to 40, if they've not been there before, they haven't found those victories. So it's a little bit less possible for them to actually achieve that. But there's part of me that actually thinks Gorilla could go on to win this tournament.
Yeah, I agree with you. As I say, if you've won, you don't forget how to win. Whereas if you haven't won before, it's a completely different scenario to find yourself in.
That being said, Dasari and Tex did go 4-0, both of them in Swiss. They do look very much on form and are going to be very difficult to beat. And because they're in their own separate rivalry, because they just want to one-up one another going into the E-World Cup so they can put pressure on the other one, they are not going to let off. They have very much got their foot on the gas pedal.
Van Dijk comes across to deal with Da Costa here. FUTWIZ Jamie trying everything at the moment to attempt to break down the defences of Gorilla. And it was always one of the things with Gorilla, we knew he was going to score goals. Because defensively, he was always a little bit vulnerable. And I just wonder if he's kind of thought, you know what, I'm happy to concede 1 or 2 goals, as long as I go back to what made me the player I was, and that is scoring myself. And maybe there's another chance to do so here with Ronaldo. Stops up, fires it back to Neymar, takes it first time. Timing not quite there with the defender. Oh, he goes framing the way.
And whilst FUTWIZ Jamie isn't out of the competition yet, he will still have another couple of games to try and get into that top 32. He will be looking at his last couple of games where he faced the likes of #Harry. Now he's facing Gorilla. He's probably thinking, all right, can I get a little bit of an easier opponent? But it doesn't really happen in playoffs. This is why
it's this stage in Swiss as well.
Tough tournament is because we have 60 of the best players in the world from throughout the season. Swiss is hard enough at any stage. earlier on in the season, but now we've got 60 of the best who have already performed well in Swiss stages throughout the season. It's so tough.
Well, here's Mbappe then. Gorilla maybe looking for one more. A little dummy there from Ronaldinho. Flip-flop outside his man, digs it towards the back post. Couldn't quite find the connection. There's a combination of defender and goalkeeper that sends it behind. And momentarily the danger is stopped. Ronaldinho in towards the back post. Van der Sar will catch the ball and get absolutely poleaxed by Mbappe.
Yeah, you need to get a couple of sponges on, get the stretcher on after that one, but Van der Sar made a meal of it, to be honest. Probably shouldn't have even gone to a corner, but FUTWIZ Jamie is going to play it short. A bit risky, but I guess you have to take risks at this point, and he probably knows with only a few minutes left, he is going to be falling to 2 and 3 in the Swiss. But Gorilla moves on to 3 and 2, and he'll be 1 win away from getting into the knockouts.
Jamie's trying to come forward here, maybe score something a little bit special. That's a great spot, though, from Gorilla. He's released Cristiano Ronaldo. Is he going to go for the cross? No. He's a couple of skills to get inside the box. There's an Elastico or two. Ronaldinho dragged back from him. Elastico from him. Cricketers. He's doing it all. And oh, no. The man who puts it in the back of the net. I think he was wearing a black shirt.
Not the prettiest way for a game to end. FUTWIZ Jamie just put his pad down and said, yeah, all right, what can I do? At this point, I'm done. I'm just going to move on to my next game. Forget about it. It was a tough one. Gorilla did outclass Jamie in this particular game, but Jamie can learn a lot from this one and take that into his next opponent.
The crazy thing about that was it could have been such a fantastic way to end the game had Neymar been the player to put it away. Unfortunately, as I say,